All right, guys, we are going to pick up with our how to start a one-point perspective handout towards the bottom of the page where it lists the 6 areas of the drawing. The 6 areas of the drawing. The cool thing about one-point perspective is that in each of these different areas of the drawing, there are only 2 types of lines that we can use, which might sound a little bit restrictive, but it's actually really helpful when we're trying to figure out how to draw an object within that space. And so at first this might just look like a lot of words and not really make sense, but for now just copy it down and then you'll figure out later how to use this as a resource. Okay? So the 6 areas of the drawing. The first pair of areas, the two areas that are the same in how they work, how they operate, are the left and the right side walls. The left and the right side walls. The 2 types of lines that you'll be using in those 2 areas are going to be vertical and orthogonal. Vertical and orthogonal. So lines that go straight up and down like doors, doorways, lockers if we were drawing the hallway. And then the other type is orthogonals, those lines that seem to disappear into the distance at the vanishing point. So those slanted lines. Orthogonal kind of sounds like diagonal, and that's for a good reason. The next pair of areas, the 2 spaces that are very similar, are the ceiling and the floor. The ceiling and the floor are going to utilize 2 types of lines, that is horizontal and again that orthogonal, those orthogonal lines. So horizontal, side to side, parallel to the top of the page or the bottom of the page, runs along like the horizon line, and then those orthogonals again that head towards that vanishing point. The last areas of the drawing are going to be the back wall, so that's our furthest wall away from us, or any front-facing wall. Well, what is a front-facing wall? A front-facing wall is anything that runs parallel to that back wall. For instance, a doorway, where there's sort of a little narrow hallway into a classroom, or such. Intersecting hallways would be front-facing. Anything that sticks out into a hallway or a space is going to have a front-facing edge, and that's going to be basically parallel to that back wall. The 2 types of lines that we get to use in those areas are vertical and horizontal. Vertical and horizontal. So notice back walls and front-facing walls are the one space in a 3D drawing like this where we don't use orthogonals, where we don't depend on the vanishing point. And that's kind of important to understand. So copy these down, have these in your notes. We'll have to refer to it later, but now you'll have this as a reference. So even if it doesn't all quite make sense to you yet, that's okay. As long as you have this in your notes, you'll be in good shape.